Okay, hello everybody. It is the first week of April. Who's excited? Who got pranked on April Fool's Day? I'd love to hear in the chat how your weekend went. If it's feeling springy where you are, we had like our first day out in light clothing today here in Wisconsin, so I was very excited about that. And today we're just going to give you some quick inspiration and ideas for how to reach out to different customers and explain the topic of anti-stress, etc., to really make the most of what the company has built for us for this month. So our agenda for today, we're going to do a spotlight on the anti-stress blend, which is on sale this month. We're going to talk about the stress-free life quiz that is already in our virtual office and our consultant app. We're going to give a few tips about how to demo products like anti-stress when we're out in the community and people are talking about stress. How can we bring that tool right to them in the moment? And we'll also be talking more about creating stories in Instagram, just kind of what to focus on, how to make the most of it, how to feel more confident when posting on stories. It's a great way to kind of reach out to our audience and hook them in and bring them to our profile to check out everything that we have to offer. And then we'll finish up with some call to action and important dates and reminders at the end. So, and also just a quick note, I believe on April 10th, for right now, we're thinking maybe no webinar. So I'm sure that will be included in your weekly news. Just make sure that you check that. But we might not have a webinar on Monday the 10th. We'll be sending out some information just to help with tutorials, etc., with it being kind of a holiday weekend. So, all right. So today we're going to be focusing on stress. Remember that we have needs cards focused on stress. That talks about stress, anxiety, irritability, children and infants for calm and good sleep, insomnia, balance, harmony, inner peace. These are all topics that we can be sharing in our social media posts. You can put your needs cards up right in front of you as you're talking about these things, or use them as your hooks when you begin talking in your content. But you do have those already in your consulting kit. Just make sure you make use of those this month. And one of our powerhouse products that has is the anti-stress blend. This is one of the products that my customers have had the most wow reactions to. I've had some customers, especially within my inner circle, aunts, cousins, etc., who really aren't excited. Like they don't get excited about essential oils because they've never really tried them. But then they try anti-stress and they're like, oh wow, like this really works. I was skeptical, but this really works. Like this is a wow product that we have. And because it's a blend, it just serves so many functions, right? So we have 15 different essential oils in this blend. I'm going to highlight just a few of them, but peppermint for focus and mental clarity, cedar for calming our emotions, geranium for balancing our moods, right? For balancing mood swings, things like that. Chamomile, Melissa, lavender also are very relaxing and calming. And this blend is just so powerful. A little bit goes a really long way. I love this one in the diffuser and for direct application. And you feel it within minutes, especially if you're a person with anxiety or just have a high stress job, etc. We really feel the difference of this one, especially when combined with other holistic methods like just taking a deep breath, going for a quick walk. Maybe you do 5 to 10 jumping jacks, things like that. It's really important to help people with ending their stress cycles or kind of refocusing their energy when they have a bout of anxiety or really high stress. So this is such a big need, especially in our US culture. Think of it as ideal for your customers or your contacts in your life who are experiencing a stressful life change, who have a stressful job, who need to soothe irritability and nervousness that they just experience throughout the day. Sometimes they're not even sure why. They notice that their mood is impacted by stressful situations, that they have big reactions to those things. People who struggle with anxiety, overstimulation, etc. We start talking about this product and needs pop up all over the place, right? So make sure that we are really focusing on those kinds of needs before, like kind of as the hook for before we start talking about this product with our customers. Yes? Okay, and also related to that, we want to reach out to our customers early on this month, like within these next couple of days, to share with them the stress-free life quiz. And there are many ways to do this. I'm going to show you how you can find like the main tool that is in our virtual office already. So the stress-free life quiz is a document that has some questions that just ask customers about their needs, right? So, do everyday problems cause you to worry too much? Do you have trouble falling asleep at night? Do you feel you never stop trying to come up with ideas to solve your problem? Your brain just keeps going, going, going. Do you typically get irritated easily? Are you overly sensitive to things? Do you feel nervous and anxious for no apparent reason? Do you have any of the symptoms of like heart palpitations, your heart starts beating rapidly, or you kind of get out of breath? Like that's like a spike in anxiety, right? Do you have trouble concentrating at work when you study? Have you suffered any major life changes that can create anxiety? All of these are really good questions that reach a broad audience. You can use this document to share and kind of reach out and have people assess their own needs for their stressors. On the back of this document, the second page is really cool because it has a whole list of used products that can be used to reduce and manage stress, right? So anti-stress is obviously on there, but a lot of other products as well, including bath foams, lavender, Melissa bath essence, etc. And a lot of these are on sale right now. So you can also use this to share with your customers for ideas, but you can use this to generate your own content ideas for social media as well. So you don't want to just talk about anti-stress all month. This gives you lots of different products that you can talk about in the same topic. And so how do we use this document? You can print it out and send it in the mail to people who aren't on social media. I have a few customers like that. Like you can print it out and send it to them. You can also send a copy by opening up this document in your consultant app through Google Drive. I can show you how to do that in just a moment. Or you can just open it up in your consultant app and screenshot and kind of clean up the edges, right? You kind of crop it down to the edges and send it as an image that way as well. Either way, get this into the hands of your customers. You might even make your own version of this as a poll in a WhatsApp group or a Facebook group, etc., and have people just answer it right there in your social media. So also just kind of to get more interaction on this poll and to get people thinking about this topic and doing this reflection, sometimes it's helpful to ask them, like, I'm just collecting some data about stressors in people's lives. Would you mind taking this short survey for me, right? So it's a way of like, they're doing you a favor, they're kind of helping out with your process, but it's also kind of an extra motivator for people to take the time to do this. And I already talked about using the back of the sheet for content creation, to think of hooks for customer needs, and then talk about these different products. So it's a really cool tool. Now, how do we get to it? The easiest way, it is in your virtual office if you're on a desktop, but the easiest way to find it for me is in the consultant app. So you just go to your main page in your consultant app and click on resources. And from there, you have that little search bar and you just look up stress-free life quiz. Once you type in stress, you will see that it pops up right there. You will click on the document and go to open. So that share button can be kind of tempting because it seems easier, but go to the open button. This is the best way to share this and get this saved. So once you open the document, you'll see there's the little 3 dots, the little menu at the top. Click there and this menu will pop up, and you just go to send a copy. Okay, so once we click send a copy, we can take this is a PDF, right? So we can take a PDF copy of this and send it directly to someone via Facebook Messenger. We can send it directly into WhatsApp. We can save it. You can save it into your files on your phone, or you can just take those screenshots and save it as an image as well. So there's lots of different ways to do this. But once you get to this stage, you can just start sending it off to people, right? So it's really easy to access. Let me know if you have questions about that. Take a screenshot of this if you want to be able to find it easily later. But it's really just going into resources and searching stress-free life quiz, okay? Make use of that, whether you make your own version in a poll or you send that document off to people and ask them to give you their feedback. Okay, so we're also going to talk about how to demonstrate these products, right? Because when we're talking about stress, tell me in the chat, does stress come up in topics of conversation when you are out in the community? Like you are at a family gathering, you are at sometimes it's church, sometimes it's like, for me, it's at the YMCA, like I'm at the gym with a bunch of other stay-at-home moms. Stress comes up a lot. So right, every time, stress is something that we talk about a lot, especially in our US culture. Like it's just a thing that we talk about a lot. And how wonderful is it to say, wow, yeah, stress is, it weighs on us really heavily, right? Have you ever tried something like relaxing essential oils to navigate that, to manage that, and to help yourself feel better throughout the day. And by having something like anti-stress in the sample form, or maybe the bottle, maybe the roll-on, by having that along with you basically everywhere you go, you can let people try this right in the moment. We've talked about this before. Samples are great, and it's great to hand them off, but sometimes they get lost and people forget about them, right? Like if you don't have that person's contact information to say like, hey, did you try that sample I sent? It might just get lost in their bag somewhere, or, you know, in their kitchen counter. Like that's what would happen in my life. So, so be prepared to demonstrate this in the moment. These are a few things that you can do. Keep samples with you, and maybe like a small scissors. I like to cut the ends off of these instead of rip them, because the samples for anti-stress, Guducci, and 31 herbal oil actually have like oil in them, right? So you don't want to like open it and have a big mess. So if you just have a little scissors with your samples and you trim off an edge, you can give them just a drop or two in the palm of their hand or on their wrist, and just have them take just a drop on their hand, have them rub either their hands or their wrists together, and just take 3 deep breaths. How easy is that? How not scary is that, right? It's not like a bunch of instructions. It's just like, here, try this. You take a drop of it, you rub it, and you breathe it in. And they will, and you can even tell them like, here, and here's the rest of the sample. If you want to try some later, you can put a little behind your ears or on the back of your neck, etc. And let them feel that within those first few minutes, the difference that it makes. And so many people love this aroma. It's such a like pleasant, user-friendly aroma for so many different people. And it smells different every time that we smell it because it has 15 different essential oils in it. Another thing that you can do is keep just a small container or a small clean bag of cotton balls with you, so that you can apply the oil right to a cotton ball, and then they can apply it to their wrist or to the palm of their hand with the cotton ball. We're in a post-pandemic world, or almost out of the pandemic. We're out of the pandemic for the most part, right? But people just we need a little bit more separation between touch and things like that. So a cotton ball is a good way for you to apply the oil to a cotton ball and then hand it off to them so that they can apply it to themselves. And it's just a really professional, clean cut way to share the product with them. And just a quick tip, like since this does have that slight tingling effect, right? It is an essential oil that we can use on our temples, and a lot of us do. But I find that sometimes if I tell people to apply it to their temples the first time, I don't have a chance to like get out all the words of like, okay, but we don't want it in your eye area, right? And then we don't want them to have like a tingling sensation in their eyes the first time that they try it, right? So we know how to do that because we're well-practiced essential oil appliers. But if it's their first time, just put it on their wrist or their hands, keep it simple, maybe behind their ears. But this is like the safest, simplest way to share that product. Okay, so let us know in the chat, what are some other things that you do to share anti-stress? Do some of you have like, maybe you put it on a tissue because people can smell it that way? We never want to just go ahead and share in the chat. How else do you share anti-stress and these essential oil blends out in the community? We don't want to just have people just smell directly out of the bottle. I mean, I love it, but for a lot of people, it's too much. It's too hard on their senses at first. So we always want to apply it either on hands and rub it, or apply it on cotton balls or something like that so that they can smell it, the aroma as it's coming into the air versus just straight out of the bottle or the roll-on. Yes, yes, tissues I use a lot as well, especially for like in-home demonstrations. Okay, perfect. Thank you, everybody. So then we're going to move on to our tech tips, which we're going to just talk about some basics and a few more advanced things that you can do with Instagram stories. Last week, we were talking about putting them in highlights, but we were kind of like, oh, maybe we should take it a step back and make sure that everyone knows how to make a good Instagram story, and then you can add them into highlights later. Yes. So one big thing with Instagram stories is, okay, where do we find them? Yes. So when you open up your Instagram profile, you will see these little dots on the top of your Instagram, on your Instagram like main feed. Those are the stories. And if someone's face pops up with a little ring around it, that means that they have a story posted. And when you click on them, you will see either a video or a graphic. Sometimes it will just be one piece of content on the story, or sometimes you'll see multiple little bars at the top of it, which means that there are multiple photos or videos included. Did you know that they don't just disappear? Like you don't get to just see them once. Some people get nervous about stories because they're like, oh my gosh, once it goes, if I don't press my finger on it and hold it, it'll go away. It doesn't. They just keep automatically scrolling through. But if you click on those little tiny thin lines, those little tiny bars at the top of them, you can go back to a previous image or video that someone has posted. I just had this conversation with a friend and I'm like, oh yeah, I forget that I do more on social media than the average person. So just click on those little bars and you can find that content again. The only thing is that with Instagram stories, they only stay posted for 24 hours. So some people will be really consistent about Instagram stories. They'll post them every day at 7:30 a.m. or every day at 10:30 a.m. I don't know, but they're only going to be there for 24 hours after you post them. That's important. That's important to know. This is why we sometimes put them in highlights, because if you add a story that you posted into your highlights, it will stay on your profile for longer. So like until you decide to remove it, right? So these are short term. Unless you put them into highlights, then they will stay on your profile. They can be layered with multiple images and videos. So you don't just have to post one picture and that's your story for the day. You can post 5 things, and that way someone's staying active on your account for longer as your story kind of cycles through. When we're posting videos to Instagram, the most that it will let play at one time is 15 seconds. So some of us strive to create short videos for stories that are 15 seconds or longer. That's what they're designed for. But if you do decide to post a longer video, the beautiful thing about Instagram is that it will cut it automatically into 15-second chunks for you. We used to have to do that by hand in other apps, and that was not a good time. It was not worth it. So Instagram now does that automatically for you, which is a big plus compared to Facebook stories. It does this automatically. So that's why I have my Instagram and Facebook accounts connected. I post all my stories through Instagram, and I have it set up so it posts to Instagram and Facebook stories at the same time. I get extra tools that Instagram offers, like direct product link stickers, etc. And people can click on those tools from Facebook and Instagram the same. So that's a big tip, is when you're posting stories, post from Instagram to both Instagram and Facebook. There are more options for you to create good interaction, direct product links, etc. Okay. So how do I create powerful Instagram stories? So in terms of the algorithm, Instagram stories are focused on, like, the consumer is going to see mostly stuff from friends and family and content that they've had the most interactions with. So if they've already followed your account, they like a lot of your other posts and reels, etc., they're going to see your story more often. They are also made with the purpose of kind of connecting with our audience. So try to post things like lifestyle snippets, right? Like something that you're doing with your life related to your youth business, or something related to holistic wellness, etc. Updates, keep it casual, keep it brief. Like these are just like quick check-ins, right? Add polls to them, questions to them, and other interactive tools so that people are clicking on something and not just passively looking at your story, because the algorithm is going to trigger that as something important and more people are going to see it. So try to incorporate interactions as much as possible and try to show your face. So I know, and I'm guilty of this sometimes too. I'm like, I only have 30 seconds. I have to post my story. I'm going to just post all the images of all the sales that are going on right now. However, those rarely get views and those rarely get the amount of interaction that I want. However, if I put something before those images that involves my face and me demonstrating something, like maybe it's just me spraying on the new the Aroma Care Vitality Spray, right? Or something like that. If it's my face and me doing something, that piques their interest. And then I follow that up with the images or the videos and things like that that go with it. So whenever you can, try to show your own face, especially when you're using your personal accounts, okay? And also consider, so when you're making a video or a picture or something like that with Instagram stories or reels, etc., consider using your phone backwards, because when we're wanting to connect with our audience and we're looking at our own face, you know what happens? We're looking at our own face and all of our insecurities start to pop up, right? So we're looking at our own insecurities, like, oh, I should have put a little more under eye makeup there. Or, oh, my hair is doing this weird thing right here. And we kind of lose our connection with our customer because we're connecting with ourselves and like getting insecure. Have you ever felt that? Can you see that when that happens in someone's video, where all of a sudden they're looking at themselves and they lose their connection with us and they're just thinking about themselves? It's not great for social media connection, right? So try to take your phone, Always clean off the camera that you are recording your content with, but try to stick it backwards and just talk to this part of it. Just talk to the camera like you're talking to your customer base, to your audience, and see if you feel happier about your video content creation when you're not just looking at yourself the whole time. It makes a big difference. I've been doing some courses on that to get better at that, because I feel like that happens to me sometimes. I'll get insecure when I'm trying to record my content, and you can see it, right? That's hard to fix. So give it a shot, see what you think, see if you feel more connected to your customer base by talking into your camera. Let us know in the chat if you've ever done that before and if you've liked your results. Okay, so when we are doing this, I'm going to show you a quick video, just kind of what this all looks like when we're in the app, and then we'll wrap things up for today. But in the meantime, take notes, take screenshots, and write any questions that you have about Instagram stories in the chat, please. And I'll try to make sure to answer those before we leave. Okay. Oh, I see someone in the chat says, I have tried recording with the camera backwards, but can't shut it off, and then it looks terrible. You know what, just edit out the first chunk and the last chunk, because it is always kind of awkward. I press record, I set it where I need it to be, and I kind of do like a trial run to make sure that it's in the right place. But you can edit that when you open up your video on your phone. Just click edit and kind of trim off the edges, and then it will look more professional. The beginning few seconds and the end 2 seconds are always a little sloppy on mine. I always get rid of those and just keep the middle parts. Good comment. That's good to know. Okay, so here I have a quick tutorial so that you can see what this process looks like within the app, and put any questions that you have in the chat while
Let's talk about posting Instagram stories. So it's really easy to do. We think of stories as what we will see here, right? We flip through snippets of information. They can be either images, prompts, videos, etc., that people can flip through and enjoy kind of in a quick way while they're viewing your profile. There are many different types of content that you can share in your story, but overall we want to keep it a little bit more informal and more with the purpose of connecting and engaging our audience. So we want to do things that have people interact with that content, respond to it, write us a message, click on a link, or answer a poll, etc. And we want it always to be with the purpose of connecting with our audience, sharing snippets of our lifestyle related to our used business, connecting with them on a personal level. You can do a really quick product demo, but it's kind of more for drawing them in and getting them engaged and connected versus putting an entire tutorial on. So we're going to go to our profile and click on this little plus button and go to story. And here you can select from your different resources. So sometimes it will be an image that you want to share. Sometimes it will be a video. Again, if this video is more than 15 seconds, it's going to try to break it down into smaller pieces. And there are also different limits on time, right? When you create a video for your stories, try to keep them within 15 seconds. If you can, that's kind of the best way to use that feature. So now here I'm going to select an image that I'm going to add to my story. Now, anytime you're talking about a product, make sure that you are adding a direct link to your product using these sticker options. So you just click the sticker icon, go to link, and here you'll put the URL for the specific product from your personal website. Here I'm just going to put in my regular shopping website as an example. Okay, so there's my regular shopping website, but you'll want to use a specific product link whenever you can, and then give that a name like Learn More or Shop Now, Deal Ends Tomorrow, or something like that with a date. So add something there. You can also use emojis in that title, and you'll notice you get this little sticker. You can drag the sticker to wherever you think it fits best on the screen, and if you tap it, you can change how it looks so that it matches best with your image that you have posted. Now you can also take your finger and just swipe to the left, and it will add different filters. You can't see it as much with this image, but it will add different filters to your content if you need it, for example, when you're posting a video of yourself, etc.
I'm going to pause it here just a moment to point out that you can also add text and change what that looks like just by tapping on the different options. And there's also effects. Those can be a little bit harder to use, so only use those if you have a more advanced proficiency with Instagram stories. But the text and sticker options are really easy. They have search options, etc. That it's easy to add extra things to your stories. We don't want them to be too busy, but sometimes you want to add last day or check in with me if you have these needs, or you want to post other things on top of your content, go for it.
And then when you're done and you're happy with your content, you just click the arrow and you share it to your story and you're ready to go. You can also do this with multiple images or multiple videos by going here and clicking select and then tapping them in the order in which you would like them to appear. And then you just click this little arrow and go on with the same process.
So this is what I mean by layering content. If you want people to stay engaged with your profile on stories for longer, I recommend putting multiple pieces into your story like this. And they stay in order, and you can click on each one and add different links, different stickers, etc.
You'll notice when you're posting multiple images, you can add a sticker to each image or each video that you post as a separate piece. And that is really helpful for one-click shopping. So do take advantage of that feature as often as you can. And then again, you will just finalize and share that, and it will appear on your story.
Okay. So questions, go ahead and pop them in the chat. I'll be happy to answer them. But just a big thing about this is remember that they will stay up for 24 hours. However, after those 24 hours, they will be archived in your Instagram account. They don't actually disappear. They will be archived so that if you do want to add something like that to your story highlights, they're still available to you. The only time that doesn't happen is if you literally go into your story, click on the little menu and tell it to delete it. That's the only time it actually will disappear. Like if a deadline came up and you wanted to take it off because the deadline was done or something like that, you can delete them, but otherwise they will automatically archive. They'll stay in your Instagram account, and you can add them to these highlights, which are actually up on the screen right now. Remember those little buttons that, right, it says like respiratory.
Yes, I think so. You can listen in. Maybe she come back. Okay, we can waiting for her. Okay, we can waiting for her. I don't know, is she connection or she no have idea for us? Okay, what I can do for waiting for her. I think she lost the connection, but you can listen in. What's going on with the launch of the product? You excited? You like it? Jennifer, you can see, you can talk about the Happy Box because you receive on Saturday, right? Just you can open your mic and talking.
I haven't received it yet. I'm supposed to get it this afternoon.
Awesome. Okay, one day more. One day more. Okay, are you ready again, Angela? You're mute.
I'm here, but are you able to put the slides up from the shared folder in Google? My computer died on me again. My husband did 3 fixes, but it's doing the same thing it was doing on Friday. So we're going to have to do another couple fixes. I don't know what happened to it. But yes, if you can share the presentation, I can talk through the last announcements. And if there were any questions in the chat and I missed them, sorry, but if there's anything, go ahead and let me know. Okay.
No, I think it's a great tutorial. Just repeat and again if you need to understand more clear. Mm-hmm. But I know some of here know about the histories, but this is very easy. It's 24 hours. You can put stories every day. Every day, because you have a new customer, new prospect, and by the way, you stay in the mind of your prospect. You need the slides or
just if you want me to talk about the call to I can talk about the call to action if you want to pull them up for the sales, to go through the sales. Okay. But it should be in our shared Google folder. So the call to action for this week is just, we want you to use that stress-free life survey and and just talking out in your community, and try to find, in whatever way you decide, find 10 people who suffer from stress and share tips with them and demonstrate anti-stress blend with them in some way. So whether you're doing that in person, if you're online, you're having them take a survey, quiz, poll, you're sending out samples of anti-stress to people, you're just pulling out needs cards when you're having conversations with people, etc. Just find 10 people who suffer from stress and share tips with them using used products. Yes. Okay. And then again, let us know when you've done that. We'd like to hear from you. Like, I found 10 people. I had 10 stress conversations this week. We do like to hear about that. Perfect. So hopefully you've had some technological and business inspiration for this week. And we hope that, I mean, this is a big topic. So keep talking about stress and how to manage it using used products and other holistic tips as well.